Hello, and welcome to the Oregon Files podcast. First, our disclaimer. We are novice podcasters simply for entertainment and knowledge. If we misquote or offend, it was not on purpose to do so. Today is a great day because we have a fun interview lined up for us, and we're recording from the Roseburg Library. And here's my co-host, Elliot Bowman.
Thank you so much, Mark. Thank you again for another fantastic introduction. I think it's been a little bit since we've done an episode. Don't remember, it's been about a month, and I think this is, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's 48. I think we're at 47 or 48.
I'm getting old, the numbers all
It's 48. I think it's 48. Yeah, and I appreciate, the continuation of our listeners and everything and everyone with the support and all the comments and stuff from all our past episodes. So as we roll into spring here, we like to do a lot of outdoor activities. We would like to appreciate the nature and everything, and hopefully warmer weather is more around the corner than it has been the last few days. We've had some snow recently, but today's been really nice and a beautiful day. And in our neck of the woods, we do have quite a few events coming up that do help us appreciate the outdoorness more than we like to maybe acknowledge firsthand. But one of those events is the Glide Wildflower Show, which is an event that takes place on April 27th and 28th out in Glide, Oregon. And Glide is about 17 miles east of Roseburg, and it takes place at the Glide Community Center, which is 20062 North Umpqua Highway in Glide. And today we're going to be chatting with Becky, who is the president of the Glide Wildflower Show.
Woo.
Yeah, we get to know her a little more and also get to know a little bit more about the Glide Wildflower Show. I practiced to say that so many times before the show. Glide Wildflower Show. Becky, without me mumbling more, I appreciate you being here and talking about the Glide Wildflower Show with us.
It's hard not to say wildfire.
Wildfire,
yeah. It is,
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
But really, these events, they're so amazing to go to. I go to different events throughout the years. Yeah. The events are awesome, but also the people that make the events happen are awesome. So we like to maybe get to know you a little bit too before we jump in and talk about the Glide Wildflower Show. Would you mind just telling us a little bit about yourself and if you're from this area or how you came to this area?
Sure. I actually grew up in Lewiston, Idaho. Met my husband at a swimming pool in Milton Freewater, Oregon.
Okay.
He went back to Oregon State. I went back to Idaho, and we were married the next summer.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And he worked for Bonneville Power while we were in Milton Freewater and fell in love with the North Umpqua River because he was a fly fisherman. We had fished the Deschutes a lot when we lived in the Dalles, but came to the North Umpqua, which is not a very forgiving river to fish, unlike the Deschutes. And for several years, we would drive home, which was 8 hours from here, and Pat would proclaim that we were never going to come back. We would go to the Rogue next year. And every year we'd be coming back down the North Umpqua Highway to fish again. I've always said that we were poor parents because we didn't take our kids to Disneyland. We brought them to the North Umpqua, which they, to this day, are thrilled that we did. Fast forward to 93, and prior to that, Pat Lee, who was one of the owners at Steamboat Inn, and I would drive around looking for places that we might be able to buy, knowing that we would never find a place on the river. We were happy with a little place we could put a travel trailer, fifth wheel for a while, and happened to come across 800 square foot cabin that was
800, yeah.
We just, that's doesn't happen.
Right.
So we bought it, still living in Milton. And in 94, Bonneville decided that Pat needed to work in Portland.
Oh, wow.
We had dodged that bullet when our son was a senior, but not this time. So then we were only 3 hours away. So we finished the cabin, moved into a small condo in Tigard, which we still have, and would drive down on weekends when we were off work and fish and work. And then we'd drive back up to Portland, and both retired in 2000, 2001, and still float back and forth a little bit, but our home on the river is still home. Yeah. Even my car says, when I get in the car in Tigard It says 3 hours to home.
Oh,
I don't know how. And when I go back up, it's like 3 hours to work. Well, I don't know how that figured out. It did.
Now, did you fish too? I didn't
I
ask you.
do.
You do?
hmm
Nice.
Pat taught me how.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And fly fishing?
Fly fishing.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever tried fly fishing. Have you ever tried fly fishing?
yeah. I wasn't good. I slipped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On this river, that even good fishermen slip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I've only tried from the banks and in a boat once, but that's about it. Yeah.
So the Wildflower Show,
Yeah.
probably first time I went to it was in 95, mainly because we had lived in, I had lived in Lewiston. We lived in Milton Freewater for 20 years. I knew what those plants were.
Mm-hmm.
Here I am in Western Oregon looking at things that I had no idea what they were. And so I would draw a sketch and I would write things like, looks like a lilac.
Huh.
It wasn't, but it looked like a
Yeah,
blood lilac. And so I went to the show that year and was able to find out what some of those plants were. And then probably in 2000, I was asked to be on the board. I
Okay.
have been
Okay.
since.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Nice. And did you originally have like a green thumb? Like, did you know
only outside.
only outside? No.
Inside plants and I don't.
No. I did want to ask one question because when I was looking on the website, it does specify it says, so additional displays at the Wildflower Show features noxious weeds, medical plants, natural dyes, and for photographs of rare and endangered plants. I have to ask, so is noxious weeds like obnoxious weeds? Like they just don't get along with the other weeds and
No.
just like,
They're like Scotch broom,
okay,
ivy,
okay,
borscht, which is what made Bandon burn.
okay. We did an episode on the fire.
And a lot of those type plants, like the Scotch broom, were brought over from overseas.
Yeah, we knew all about that.
And they are really pretty when they bloom, but
Right.
they their seeds can live it for 100 years
Right.
in the ground.
So they are obnoxious.
They are very obnoxious.
See, that's funny. We did a episode about the Bandon fire.
Thistles. So that is one of the displays that we do have, just so people are aware of the plants that we don't want.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. How many plants do you have on display there?
We always say that we have 600 species of wildflowers, native shrubs, native trees.
600?
Uh-huh.
Wow.
I think the top we've ever done would have been 712,
Man.
maybe.
That's wild.
So are they brought in from all over, or is
They're
it?
brought in mostly from Douglas County, from over the coast. We have a coast route. We have a southern down by Grants Pass and up the North Umpqua River. So we're spread out.
Yeah.
We represent pretty much all sections of the county. And
Yeah, and is it people that are part of the Glide Wildflower Show specifically to bring in those plants for the show, or is it?
we have actually we have 200 and plus volunteers. The majority of those people I don't know.
I'll be darned.
Because they have like my route goes up Little River Road, and there are certain wildflowers that I know generally I'm going to be able to find up that route. And so I collect those. Everyone else is doing the same thing wherever they are. And then and that usually starts the weekend before the show.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
On Wednesday, everyone brings their specimens in, and they're brought in, which to me, and the vasers know that I say this all the people, the real stars are the women who vase these things, because they come in with in a little baggie, because we don't, there are very few that are dug up.
Okay.
They're cut below the basal stem and then wrapped in a little paper towel, put in a solution of what's called Floralife, which is a flower preservative. When you are doing this, and then everyone has coolers to keep them cool, and then they're brought in on Wednesday to be put in families. And then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, they are taken to the botanists who are going to check a pre-printed label to say, yes, this label is this plant.
Oh, wow.
And all the botanists are all volunteers.
Wow.
And so they put a little red check on them. Then they go back to the table. When that group is done, they're taken to the vasers, who, with this little baggie, walk around all of our bajillion vases that the Job Corps kids have hauled over in totes and find the perfect vase to show that plant.
Wow.
And then that same label gets a little round sticker, which means the botanist has checked it and it's officially vased, so it can go back out. And then on Friday, those tags are taken off and the permanent labels that we have are put on.
Okay. That's a process.
That is a heck
It's
of
a
a process.
big process.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's 200 volunteers. No kidding.
A lot of volunteers.
Yeah.
Botanists come from the BLM, the Forest Service, Oregon State. Ken Carlone was a professor at UCC. I mean, from just a variety of places that have volunteered for this for a long time.
Has anyone ever come in and say that was mislabeled?
We have had some of those.
Really?
Yeah. Uh-huh. And usually we have a roving botanist, so we find that person
Okay.
and say, this person thinks this should be that. And they'll either agree with them or they'll discuss why not,
And take it out to the parking lot.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
they take it to the microscope to look at.
Really?
Oh, yeah, they bring
The
in
microscope?
They bring in their own microscopes.
What? That is serious.
Oh, yeah.
I love
That's
that.
insulting their integrity.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Man.
I mean, they're there.
I would just be like, okay, well, I mean, if you say it is, then
Yeah.
I believe you. I mean, I'm not going to argue with you.
It doesn't happen very often, but
Yeah.
it has happened.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
This is probably a dumb question, but what
There
is
are no dumb questions.
well-
You've heard that, right?
how would you like best describe a wildflower?
Oh,
That's
Like, I think like is a wildflower just like grows out in the wild? Like, hey, it's a wildflower, or is it
What-
is it like a specific like genre or like a
it doesn't need help.
species of a flower?
no, they're not cultivated,
Mm-hmm.
so they've not been bred, adjusted.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
They have pretty much, unless they have changed because of climate, like
Mhm.
there's Oregon sunshine that I used to find when I go up Little River Road that I haven't found for several years, and I'm
Mhm.
sure it's due to climate change. So we have those records that go back to. Well, we started in 65. Our records don't go back that far, but we have a pretty extensive record
Mhm.
of what has been seen along the way, and now
Oh,
what we're
interesting.
not seeing.
Really? That's interesting. You have plants that you knew existed at one point and grew, but now over the years they're no longer able. You don't find them anymore.
And they're not in that. For me, they're not in that particular place. I
Uh-huh.
know they come to the show,
Uh-huh.
but for where they used to be all the time on my route, they're not.
That's crazy.
That is
That's
really
interesting.
fascinating.
Yeah.
Like, do you that's like have you ever went to a place where you expect to pick up like a certain flower and are you kind of like disappointed that that flower is not there? That
Actually, what we say is we can only give what Mother Nature gives to us.
yeah.
And on any given year, like the year that we had the 700, it was a really dry year, but wet enough. So some of those plants that never make it into the show were able to get into the show. We
Mhm.
found a Dartonian, which is like a fly-eating kind of type plant, which had never, because things have to be in bloom.
Mhm.
They can't just be growing. They actually have to show their blooms. And it came to the show for the first time. I mean, it's just
Interesting.
this year, who knows what
Interesting.
we'll get.
Yeah. Have you ever found like a flower or plant that you were surprised to find in a spot that you were looking to pick up?
I haven't, but some people
Yeah.
have. Yeah, we've had a couple new ones that
Mhm.
have popped up, mainly because of weather.
Mm-hmm.
That, and of course, the routes that were destroyed by the Archie fire,
Mm.
some of them are starting to come back, but
Mm.
some are not
That's
quite
true.
yet. So
Mm.
What's the rarest flower then in this area?
Oh, sure. Ask me that.
It's a good question.
Yeah.
That is a good question. I'd have to ask somebody like Ken Carloni.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
How about on the other end of the spectrum? What's like the least rarest? Like what's the most common?
Oh, we have a lot of right now. If you go out into you really don't even have to go out in the woods.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little tiny purple one that's called the Snow Queen.
Okay.
She doesn't care what kind of weather there is. She's coming up. You know,
It's called
Snow Queen?
yeah, and it's about that tall.
Who gets the name in that?
Somebody
The
a long
Snow
time ago.
Queen?
Yeah.
Like who thought, like, I'm going to name that
Yeah.
one the Snow Queen.
A smart woman did.
A smart one.
I love it.
That is funny.
Yeah. So, and there a lot of them are like it's just kind of like a plant that you go like primrose or daffodil. There
Mhm.
are some of those that are just the other one right now. You can see little tiny daisies and grass.
Yeah.
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 Okay. Well, that's a very common one that you
Right.
see all over.
So is that considered a
It
wildflower?
is a wildflower.
So the little daisies are just growing. Okay.
And those lovely little bitter crests that bloom right now, and then when they dry, they go boing all over the
Yeah.
place. That's wildflower.
Okay. Well, that can be part of the show. I got
Right?
plenty in my yard.
I know
there you
nobody
go.
likes them.
Now, you said that there's pictures of some stuff, right?
On our website,
Okay.
Yeah.
if you look under prior shows, it will show you pictures of like each year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And what's the website so our listeners hear it?
Glide Wildflower. I got such a glare on my
Yeah.
screen.
Yeah.
GlideWildflowershow.org
Yeah.
is the website. And it says last year, 2023, had 513 species and a little over 1,000 visitors, like
Mhm.
10, 20 visitors. And it even has like a list for like the species list.
Right.
And
And there's a link there for volunteers I saw.
Uh-huh.
yes.
So, that's why my one question was, so you got a lot of volunteers, and then it's just a volunteer basis thing. Cause is there a fee at the door to come in to see the wildflower show?
There's a $5 fee
Okay.
that is a suggested donation
Okay. So pay it.
per person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well,
I mean,
$5.
come on. You're going to just
Right?
fight.
Yeah.
It's a great deal for any type of show these days.
Yeah, we average 1,200 people for those
Wow.
2 days, and they come from a variety of places. The year that the OPB show, we had 2,000 people in 2 days.
Oh, that's incredible. I love
I
that.
mean, it was amazing. And we still have people that when we have a simple little sign-in sheet, mainly just because we want to know where our audience is.
Yeah.
So we have where you're from, how you heard about us, and how many people are in your party.
Oh,
And we still have people that identify the OPB as one of the places that they saw it.
I love that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was cool.
I've watched a lot of OPB now.
Yeah.
I'm that age where OPB is my preferred programming.
Yeah, I've been watching. I got stuck on this one. This has nothing to do but flowers, but it's called Recipe TV or something like that.
Yes.
It's been just on my
boy.
TV. And like lately, I've been watching French cuisine. This guy who's just goes around
Yeah.
France and sucked
Right,
into it
that's
way
what
too
did it.
much. My gosh. Let's talk about the Flora Blitz.
On INAT.
Yeah.
INAT is worldwide web that, okay, so let's go to 20
Yeah.
when everything went crazy because of COVID.
Yeah.
And we were planning on having a show that year. And then, of course, Governor Brown said only 250 people. And we're like, yeah, okay, well, we won't do that. And then,
Yeah.
of course, everything
Right. Went crazy.
changed. So that year, because we wanted to keep our audience, we were connected by one of our board members to a program called INAT, which means that our collectors or anyone, and there are dates that are given, can go out, take a picture of a wildflower, and upload it into INAT,
Mm-hmm.
and people from all over the world will identify it.
Yeah.
I love
That's really
that.
cool. Yeah, it's inaturalist.org.
Right.
Yeah, you can go, you can share their photos. Anyone can participate. Any wildflowers can be taken in Coos, Curry, Douglas, Jackson, and Josephine counties from April 13th to April 25th.
Right.
And automatically be part of the Flora Blitz. That's really
Mhm.
cool. Take one photo or 100, share with the world.
Yeah.
I'm
We
going to take a
had-
picture of my front yard and be like, boom, took a picture of
Right,
it. There's my wildflower.
as long as you don't have any gardening type,
Nope.
they have to be a wildflower.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Um,
I'm going to contribute.
Oh, yeah.
do you should?
I'm going to.
Yeah.
Yes.
We had people, the first year we did it, there was a school teacher in France
Oh, wow.
and a gentleman out of Russia. I mean, so it's
How do they, it's interesting because how do they find out about the show?
because they all, well, because they're looking at wildflowers because there's an iNet for bugs, an iNet for birds, there's an
Okay.
iNet. So they're just
Interesting.
looking at, I'm guessing what they're interested in.
Mm-hmm.
And come across ours, and they identified,
Hmm.
because I get little updates that
Mm-hmm.
so and so from somebody has
That's
identified
cool.
something that I've put up.
Yeah. And as far as the visitors that come to the show, they come from all over the United States, or is it particularly like in like
no,
the West
actually,
Coast?
we get sometimes we get people that are here visiting
Mm-hmm.
other people, but we've had people intentionally come from Montana,
Mhm.
Seattle. We had a group last year that came from Seattle.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so years ago, there used to be tour buses that would come up from California,
Mm.
um,
Man.
just to.
I am guilty of not attending, but I'm going to make it a point to attend this year and go.
My grandma loved to go, and that's
Yeah.
what got me interested.
Really?
Yeah.
So, yeah, she
Yeah.
lived off of Whistler's Bend Park Road there.
Uh-huh.
And that was just a thing. And so we were up here one year in time to see it and just loved it.
Yeah.
And my grandma grew up back east. And so she recognized some of the things, but she had different names for them.
Right.
And that was something that was really interested me.
You're right.
Yeah. The little
Right.
nicknames or things like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
So it was founded in 1965, right?
Yes.
The largest display of native flora in the Northwest. So over 600 species of flowers, shrubs, grasses, ferns, and
Lichens.
lichens. I tried so hard on that one.
Lichens, yeah.
Lichens and mosses.
Uh-huh.
Man. But is there different species of mosses?
Yeah.
And then what's a lichen? How do you liken that? How do you liken that question?
I don't like it.
There is so much. There's so much pun.
Good flower jokes.
There's
You know what I
so
mean?
much good floral and,
Yeah.
and flower jokes.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
No, that's. I'm not the person to ask about the difference
Oh.
between mosses and lichens.
Yeah.
But we'll have a display of them.
Yeah.
You liking or you don't?
Oh man. Can you purchase flowers or anything there? Is there
This year we will have Wildwood Nursery, which is in
Mhm.
Green, Winston. And then Eric Strader will be there selling wildflower seeds
Okay.
Oh,
to plant.
Interesting.
that's cool.
Mhm.
In years past, we've had what we call ECEC, which is Elkton Community Education Center. I have to remember what that is. Has come from Elkton and brought native plants, and decided last year was probably the last time that they would do it because it's a ways for them to come.
Mhm.
They have
Yeah.
to get up early, pack their trailer, and
Mhm.
come. But so then we were able to get a hold of Wildwood Nursery, and they'll be there. So
Oh, nice. Is there other booths too, or
just those, we have been very good about strictly identifying
Yeah.
wildflower things.
Mhm.
I like that.
Anything that is there is strictly wildflower.
Okay, that's kind of
information.
cool.
It is.
I like that
Yeah.
because we also have like the home and garden show. I think took place pretty recently too.
Right.
So,
Right.
and then the master gardening show. I think that's coming up
I
here
think it's the
soon.
weekend after ours.
Yes, and the amount of money that gets dropped from my household
yeah.
on that show is ridiculous. No, this is what she does every year. She goes out and she buys. She's not gonna listen to this, so
Is
it's
this
fine.
the OSU one at the fairgrounds?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Chelsea, she'll buy probably about 20 plants. She'll plant them and then she'll water them for maybe about 3 weeks. And then she'll start asking me to do it for her. And I'm like, I don't know why you do every single year she does this. I think she just likes to buy them, look at them, and then pot them. And then she'd be like, I'm really watering them. And then they're just someone has to water them. They're really pretty. And it's That's it.
See, last year we went gung ho, and I did a garden in my backyard, and I put a little fence up, and I also did a wildflower in front of the windowsill in the front yard.
Nice.
And it was great though, but the problem is I got a lot of neighborhood cats,
Oh,
and they
sure.
thought this was the most exquisite lizard box they ever
I'm
saw.
sure it was nice and soft,
It
and
was
you dug it
nice,
up for 'em.
soft, and
Yeah.
it smelled great with the flowers.
Sure.
Oh, the best ever. Yeah.
I need somebody to tell me how to keep the deer out.
No, good luck with that.
That's my problem.
I have turkey problems. Turkeys are the ones.
deers.
Turkey are bad.
They're jerks.
I've always said the deer in ours that like they are not supposed to like marigolds, which I don't plant anymore. And I've always said, well, either the deer didn't read the memo that they don't like
They
it,
didn't get them.
or they were too young to read
Yeah.
because they would pull them up and then
Yeah.
they would remember that they wouldn't like. Well, by the time I would
Oh,
find
man.
them,
Oh,
you know,
that'd be-
they'd be toast. So
yeah.
yeah, there is a good natural spray for deer.
Uh-huh.
It's called Deer Out.
Deer out.
Deer Away. And it is not made from eggs, which is nice because most of them are egg based and they stink.
I'm darned.
I think it's Deer Away.
Okay. I'll have to
But
look
an
at
all
that.
natural product, and you spray it right when you plant your plants.
Okay.
And like every 2 weeks for a little bit,
Mhm.
and then they kind of. That's what I use my geraniums.
Okay.
And they stay away from them.
Yeah. We tried to put a fence around in front of our house, and they went around the
Oh,
fence,
yeah.
and I'm like,
Sure.
it's just no respect.
No, they're like, how dumb
They
do they
do
think we
not
are?
care.
You
Right.
know?
Right. These stupid humans.
Right.
Yeah.
Is there a plant or a species of flowers or that you have not come across that you would
Oh, I'm
that
sure
you would
there are.
love to see this year at the Wildflower Show?
Gosh, I don't know.
Like, is there like a superstar that you're like, I hope this
Right,
shows
yeah,
up?
Yeah.
I don't know. We have a lot of we have a lot of plants from the coast that I am not familiar with, and I always like to. There's one that's called butter and something, but it's a little tiny plant.
Sounds delicious.
Yeah.
Look at
Butter.
Yeah.
I think it's butter and
It's
something.
creamy and butter.
Yeah.
But yeah, the coast ones are really interesting
Yeah.
because we don't have them here,
Right.
and so they're always kind of
Yeah.
fascinating for me.
Is it the
Yeah.
butter and eggs flower?
Yeah,
Ooh, that is
Or
pretty.
yellow toad flax?
Yeah.
is
See, how
its
did that get
other
that name?
Thank
Yeah.
you.
See, I think I would want to name the
I
flowers.
would name flowers all day long.
Have you got to name any flowers?
oh gosh, no.
No?
But see, because I'm not a botanist, and
Uh-huh.
unlike Jeannie Moore, who was self-taught,
Yeah.
I know the common names. You know, it's
Right.
somebody can say,
Right.
you know, the toad flower. I was like, I have
Right,
no idea
right.
what that is. but
Behind the
yeah.
butter. Yeah. Where's the butter
Right,
one?
where's the butter one? But there are
Yeah.
a lot of those. There's one that grows upriver that's called Farewell to Spring.
Oh, wow.
That is just a
Farewell
It's
to
a
spring. That's
really-
pretty.
whitish, but it has a bright pink in the middle of it, and
Hmm.
it's just gentle, I guess, just
Mhm.
pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy what nature can make. You know what I
Oh.
mean? It's just beautiful.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And well, it's
Yeah.
interesting the different climates, different
Mhm.
Yeah.
temperatures, what types of flowers will bloom when and where.
You're right.
And you don't even, I mean, tell you the truth. I mean, I enjoy looking at them in nature, but I don't ever really stop and be like, I wonder what the name of that flower is. And
I walked
Yeah.
early on. When Pat would be fishing, I would walk the Mott Trail
Mhm.
and had a book. And there was one time, and a sketchbook with me, so I could kind of, if I couldn't find it, I could. And there was one time I literally looked at the flower and said, "Who are you?" I mean, I couldn't find it anywhere.
that's wild.
That's
I
funny.
and that day I had two little books that I could put in my pack,
Uh-huh.
and I couldn't find it anywhere. I did. Who are you? It's just like it was going to answer me or something.
Right.
Yeah, you have to discover it and name it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
That's what you could have named it. Who
I
are
could
you?
have, darn it. Mm-hmm.
I saw on the website there's recommendations for like even going on nature trails or
Mhm.
or
We have two women, Nancy and Diane, who take people once on Saturday and once on Sunday up past the Job Corps
yeah,
on the Wolf,
Wolf Creek or
Wolf Creek,
yeah.
and they do a guided wildflower.
I would,
Now
I would
that
love to
sounds
do that.
amazing.
I would love to
They
do
used to
that.
be able to do it up by Swiftwater, but
Mhm.
all of that got destroyed. So
Mm.
But yeah, they can stop and point them out. So you really see them in their own environment.
That's probably a big group that does that, right?
Yeah.
I imagine a lot of people go out and
I'm clumsy. I'd be the embarrassing person that fell down.
You'd be in the
We're trying to sell
back.
flowers, and you just see this guy tumbling down the hill.
you would be in
Into
the
the
back.
poison oak.
Yeah, exactly. And you gotta wonder if I got so much on me. I know.
Yeah.
So when you go out for like hikes and walks, you can naturally spot the different species of the plants and flowers?
Yeah, pretty much. I've gotten to the point that I'm not too bad at it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Get the dictionary.
Yeah.
I like you make a whole day out of this, go out to glide on that weekend, because there's a couple places to eat out there.
Right.
All right.
Right.
And you in the hours is it 9 to 5? Is that what I saw?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Okay, 9 to 5 on that Saturday, Sunday.
If you are a photographer, I mean, you don't have to be employed, but if you're a photographer, you can come at 8 where it's not so crowded and take pictures.
That's awesome. And it's okay. Then the other big question I have for you, because I saw the link for volunteers too. So do you prefer most communication through the website?
Yes, that's very helpful. We have somebody that monitors it all the time. And this year, we usually have a theme for our show. This year, we are doing it on volunteers.
Oh, cool.
Oh, nice.
And we have all those people that collect, which of course we always need more collectors, but we start setting up the show on Tuesday, and fortunately have the Job Corps kids, now that they're fully back in, to help us haul all the totes and tables and risers that we put on the tables. I mean, it's just a lot of hauling. And so we set the tables up on Tuesday so that on Wednesday when the specimens come in, they have a place to put them. But then we, drape tables, we get set it up for like the endangered pictures. We put those up, set up tents so that we can have different presentations. So it just takes, and then on Monday we take it all back down again, and put it all away.
Wow.
So.
And then get ready for next year, right?
Get ready for next year.
I mean, do you start just Monday getting ready for next year?
We have
after the show?
An after-show meeting in May. And then unless we have something pressing, like a couple of years ago, we decided we needed to redo our handbook a little bit. So that if something happened to me, they could hand you the handbook and you'd know what you were to do, when you were to do it. Kind of thing.
How to Wildflower show?
Yeah,
I like it.
How to run it, and it's done by job.
Okay.
So, but then we usually don't gather again until October.
Okay.
Do October, November, skip December, and then we meet once a month, starting again in January.
Is April the peak time? Is that why you do it? Because is there anything like flowers that maybe like are the end of summer that would be worth doing a show in the end of summer? Or
no, not really. And it was started in the last full weekend in April. For as long as I don't know how necessarily they picked that, but it is when a lot of wildflowers normally are either almost done blooming, starting to bloom. Dogwoods are out. Just kind of seems to be that.
That makes sense.
Kind of
Right.
That was my stupid question.
That's not a stupid question. That's a good
I just don't
question.
know when wildflowers show up,
I mean, spring's March.
April,
No, that's a good question.
And it is Saturday and Sunday both have to be in April. So that's what we say, the last full weekend in April.
Interesting.
Okay.
Now, when anyone goes to the event and they want to take pictures of the wildflower, is there a time limit on how long I can stand at one wildflower and take a picture? Nobody's going to like elbow me and tell me to hurry up.
Well, I won't necessarily say that, but no, you should be able to stand.
This guy's taking forever and looking at these flowers.
Right, yeah.
Did I be worried about? Move it along, pal.
Right. On Saturday morning at 9-ish, Ken Carlone will take whoever wants to join him around and talk about the wildflowers that are in there.
What time do you think the tour starts for the nature trail-ish?
Oh, it should be on.
Oh, look on the website, Elliot.
I was going to say at 11:30. I don't remember.
Oh, how about show schedule?
There we go.
Yeah.
There's a show schedule. That's nice. That's handy.
The show schedule.
Hey, we're okay.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is pretty well organized.
2 p.m.
2 p.m.
Okay.
Guided wildflower walk.
Yeah.
I think I'm aiming for that one.
Okay, I'll go with you.
I would love to do that. Ooh, traditional plans of the Cow Creek people.
Oh,
That's new this year.
Nice.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
That is awesome. And then we have moss diversity in the Pacific Northwest. And then there's beekeepers.
Uh-huh. With bees.
Okay.
Oh, it's quite the buzz every year.
Yes, quite the buzz.
Yes.
Very clever.
Thank you.
You're here all week, right?
That's right.
Oh my gosh. Okay. This next question is only because Mark and I don't know how many times we've closed down an episode and then the person we interviewed said, "Oh, by the way, I have a great Bigfoot story."
I don't have.
Okay. Well, I'm glad.
All the years in Glide, no Bigfoot stories.
I'm glad
Sorry.
that. No, I'm glad I asked though
I looked
because
at that and I thought,
no, I'm glad I
that
asked.
would be disappointing.
No, it's okay because we've run into that multiple times, and we've done a couple of Bigfoot episodes with Bigfoot out in Glide. So
Yeah.
he's around there
He's
somewhere.
around there somewhere.
He might show up at the Wildflower. Imagine
could.
Imagine if he's on the nature trail.
It's got to be.
No,
Now, what's going to happen to our listeners as soon as this ends and we stop recording? Becky's going
It's
to be like,
gonna
here's what
create-
happened.
Right.
I couldn't say
Here's
this
what
on air. You're right. Because it wasn't OPB that didn't show up at the Wildflower show. It was the Men in Black that showed up,
Right,
not the
yeah.
Bigfoot.
Right.
That's amazing. Okay, I have to share my
Oh,
first
do it.
Let's
experience.
do.
So this is about 25 years ago.
Okay.
I graduated from Glide High.
Oh, okay.
Now, I moved up from California. I didn't have a whole lot of friends, and I became a little rebel in my senior year in high school.
Uh-huh.
So I decided one day I was going to ditch high school,
Uh-huh.
and I didn't have a car. So for anyone in Glide, Oregon, if you ditch a high school in Glide, there's like two places you can go. When back
Sure.
then it was like a laundromat and a movie rental store.
Yep.
So I ditched and nowhere to go, and it started to rain. And I looked over, and there was a bunch of nice other ladies, but they were moving tables into the
Sure.
thing. And I was like, "Oh, can I help you guys move stuff in?" And like, "Are you here to help us?" I was like, "Yeah, sure."
Sure.
3 hours. I
Uh-huh.
helped set up tables, all this kind of stuff, right? And they were asking my name. They're like, "Oh, we brought little snacks for volunteers that showed up." I thought it was super sweet. Didn't think much of it, right? Walked back down to the high school. My mom picks me up. I go home, right? 2 weeks later, the Glide Weekly comes out.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a special thank you to Mark Layton for being the one volunteer that showed up from the high school.
Oh, shoot.
And I still have that copy of the
That
Glide
is
Weekly. It's in
funny.
my filing cabinet somewhere, but it's always going to be one of my favorite
Well,
memories. But
How
my grand,
fun.
It
But
turned out good.
it turned out great. When my grandma was reading the Glide Weekly, she goes, "When did you volunteer there?"
Yeah.
She goes, "You're." I was like,
You
"I don't
should've
know.
almost-
They must have got the wrong Mark Layton." I had to completely deny because I didn't want to get in
Well,
trouble.
sure.
Part of the high school.
But it was a great memory.
Well,
Thank
good for you.
Yes, it was
Yeah,
great.
well, I'm sure they thanked you.
Oh, they did. And I had to play it off like I was meant to be there.
Well, of course you
yeah,
did.
You know?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Great snacks.
It was National Snack Day the other day.
Was it really?
It was.
Yeah.
I saw that.
It was National Snack Day.
I'm pretty sure I participated.
So what? It's not a rude question, but why should people care about the Glide Wildflower Show? You know, what is so important that you want people to know about the Glide Wildflower Show?
It's important because, number one, it's the longest running wildflower show in the Pacific Northwest.
Mm,
I mean,
Yeah.
in unincorporated Glide.
I love it.
The other thing is, I think it's important for people to realize that sometimes these flowers are affected by climate change or bike riders or people that go by and don't know that they shouldn't be pulling them up. And it's caring for your environment, caring for nature, caring for the things that make it pretty and beautiful.
All right.
I love that. Good
That's
answer.
true. Take care of Mother Earth,
Right,
man.
yeah.
Yep.
I like how we said we weren't going to get political, and you go right back to that global warming twice. Now I love that. Good. I'm leaving that in. That's good.
Well, but
She
I mean,
didn't swear.
But it's proof.
it's proof.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it's true, man.
Good stuff.
Okay, and we asked this question to everyone.
Yeah.
If you can invite 3 people over for dinner, dead or alive, who would they be?
I've thought about this.
Yeah. This is one of my favorite questions to ask.
My first answer, and not to be a downer, I would invite my husband back who died in June, just for one more. But the three people I would invite would be,
And that's not a downer.
Yeah.
I know, would be Pat Summitt, who, if you don't know who she is,
The basketball coach?
yes,
That's awesome.
Tennessee women's basketball coach.
Can I ask why?
I started following her as a fairly young mom, and I just like, I probably can't say badass. But
You can say badass. She was a badass.
I just liked her attitude.
Pat Summitt was great.
She was just going to do it.
Yeah, she's one of the all-time
right.
winningest head coaches in women's basketball.
I mean, I watched her all the time. Happened to stop by our son's house one time, and he had people there, and he said, do you want to stay and have a beer? And I said, do you have the ball game on? And he just rolled his eyes because he knew. And he said, no. And I said, well, I was on my way home to watch Tennessee. And the friend said, oh, did you graduate from there? And I said, no. And Grady says, no, she's going to go home and watch Pat Summitt because we grew up with her watching Pat Summitt. So
I love that.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah.
The other two people would be both of my grandmothers.
Okay.
Who died when I was very young.
I love
my dad's mom and dad both came from Finland.
Okay.
Met in Michigan. And she taught herself English by reading a cookbook that was half Finn and half English.
Wow, that's awesome.
And raised boys and girls that all did wonderful things. They lived in Kuski, Idaho, which is a couple hours east of Lewiston. My other grandmother, my mom's dad died when she was 5 in the flu epidemic of 1917, 18. Her, and she had, I want to say she had 7. There were 7 in her family. Her mother scored the highest on the test for a postmaster's job. And as she was given that job in Spirit Lake, Idaho, which is close to Spokane, there were people in her community that were upset because she was taking a job away from a man who had kids to feed.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
She sent every one of her kids to college, higher education of some kind, stewardesses. I mean,
good for her.
Yeah. And I know that is, I know my genes and strength come from those two ladies. So
that's awesome.
I love that.
I would have loved to have known them.
Yeah.
Good answer. I like that a lot.
And I know this next question's backtracking a little bit, but did you grow up with like a garden or around a lot of plants?
Orchard.
Okay. So yes, you did.
But like you guys doing this, it was not my dad's job. It was, he was a guidance counselor in the high school I went to.
Okay.
But had grown up on a farm.
Okay.
It was a small cherry orchard, it was an acre. And my mom grew flowers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wildflowers.
A little bit of both, mostly perennials.
Okay.
Yeah, cool.
But always had I've always said that she was a good and bad example for me because she raised me just like her, because I'd much rather be outside than dusting in my house.
Yeah.
So it's
I like that.
I agree, though. I'd rather be outside sitting around. If folks want to get involved, volunteered, get a hold of the Wildflower Show. I know we talked about this a little bit ago. The best way is to
go through our website.
The website, which again is glidewildflowershow.org.
Nicely said this time.
I didn't have a glare on my screen this time. And again, the Wildflower Show is April 27th to April 28th. It's out at the Glide Community Center. It's on North Umpqua Highway in Glide. It's 20062 is the exact address, but there's not a whole lot. You're not going to miss it.
You're not going to miss
if you go out there.
Big yellow signs.
Right, you're not going to miss it. Head out there.
Yeah.
And then we ask these questions to everyone. So Mark's he'll ask these.
So I need to know, what's your favorite movie?
I have a hard time with that one because I have.
It's a tough one.
The Princess Bride,
Oh,
great.
classic.
Bull Durham.
Oh man.
Oh, yeah.
They're good.
Yeah,
ones,
that's-
man. Tim Robbins, Susan
Our,
Sarandon.
Our son's dog name is Nuke,
Okay.
Nuke Lelouch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other one is, well, there's A River Runs Through It, which is a
Right?
good one.
Yeah.
There's a not very well known one that HBO put out years ago called Long Gone, a baseball one that's,
Okay.
and now I can't remember who all was in it that is now very famous, but they were all very young.
Mhm. I like those types of movies
yeah.
where you got the
Yeah.
actors that are not
And 'cause
well
one of
known.
them, the guy was in CSI.
Oh, oh my
She
gosh.
was
Look it up.
on, shoot, I can't remember. One of it, I wonder what one is, somebody McDermott, but they were all young. And it
Dylan
is, it's just a good,
Yeah.
Virginia Matt.
Dermot Mulroney.
Yeah.
Oh, Dermot Mulroney.
William
Peterson,
Peterson.
yeah,
Virginia Madsen. Yeah.
yeah,
Pretty cast. Oh, Tiller. From Penn and Teller.
yeah.
It's random.
Yeah.
It's probably in one episode.
Huh.
Give him
And
credit.
it was a movie. No,
Oh, it
he
was a movie.
He was a
Oh,
big
Teller
part of
what?
it. Yeah,
Did he talk?
yeah.
I'm blown away right now. I
Yeah.
gotta watch. Yeah, it's called Long Gone.
It's the
Came out in
last time he talked,
1987.
probably.
I'm very
Yeah,
interested about this.
87. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I like movies like that. Like
Mhm.
one of my favorite movies is called The Last Picture Show.
Uh-huh.
And it has a bunch. It has a Randy Quaid in it when he was young. Jeff Bridges is in it, and they're just I think Sissy Spacek might be in it too. But they're all just younger actors,
Yeah.
and this is 1970s before anyone really
Yeah.
kind of got to stardom. But
Sure.
yeah, I love those types of movies.
Yeah.
But
And then, of course, Becky, the most important question: what's your favorite sandwich?
A Reuben.
oh my
Straight up,
gosh,
I
I
love
love
it.
Reuben. Do you like the corned beef, or you like roast beef or corned beef on it?
I like the corned beef.
Yeah.
I have told Steamboat and they have wrecked Reuben's for any place else I go because they make the best Reuben.
Really?
Wow.
They
Oh,
do.
tell.
Bold claim.
They, a lot of times you eat those sandwiches and you have to really kind of pull.
Yeah.
Somehow they have kind of not really chopped up, but
Oh my gosh.
every time I go up there, it's like, okay, I'm not going to have a Reuben, and I have a Reuben.
You like the sauerkraut with the
Oh gosh, yeah.
the Russian dressing on it. Was it
yeah.
Thousand Island Russian dressing?
Yeah.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
God, a Reuben's so freaking good.
Oh, yeah.
is.
Yeah.
It is.
Especially
And
when it's
theirs is
dinner
really
time right
good.
now. I've never eaten at the Steamboat.
Me
yet.
Oh,
neither.
you
Yeah. I
should.
gotta go now.
Yeah. Yeah.
After we go
I
on the
wonder
hike.
if- I was gonna say.
Yeah.
I mean, sounds
Built
like
the appetite.
that weekend's kind of filling up for us now. So, anything
you.
else you want
Yeah,
to share?
anything else?
Anything else we should know about the Glide Wildflower show? Just come out and see it. And
Come out and see it, enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's interesting because when you walk into that building, it's almost like it being in a museum, even though it isn't, because people don't talk very loud.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We don't want to scare the flowers.
I don't know
You
what,
don't wanna
but every
wake 'em.
year it's the same way. I don't know what it is about being in
Yeah.
there, but very seldom you hear, except for my voice, it's saying,
Oh,
now
really?
at 2, we're going to, it's
Okay.
interesting.
That's kind of good to know. We
Yeah.
won't be allowed in there.
I love it. Yes. I'll try not to be.
Well, I mean, really, thank you
Thank you
for
so much.
You're
making
welcome.
the time to do this
Sure.
and talk about the Glide Wildflower
Sure,
show. And
happy to do so.
we'll hopefully we'll see you out there that weekend.
I'll be there Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
I'll be the one with the yellow vest because
All right.
years ago somebody said, you need a hat so we can find you, one of our board members. So I said, all right. So I made vests for Jeannie Moore and one for me, they're yellow. And I made green ones for the roving botanists we have. And so we could be picked out. And
There you go.
yeah,
Where's Waldo? But where's
identify.
Becky?
Yeah, where's Waldo? That's right.
That's
Well, I hope everyone also takes the time and goes and checks out the Glide Wildflower show.
I
yeah.
hope so
And
too.
we appreciate it again.
Thank you.
Thank you so much,
so
Becky.
much.
Cheers.